originally in Spanish, January 2023. Tina, in my live, someone has asked why the Earth is so important, in case it is. Could we talk a little bit about this, please? Do you find this topic interesting or boring? It seemed that people wanted to know, although we already talked about it a little bit here and there. Yes, but sometimes you have to repeat with other words. I feel the topic is necessary and important. It's just that the real reason I feel that people don't believe it. They interpose their own values, not those of the non-human races. The reason why the Earth is very important is because of its population, because of the people, because of the souls that are in there. And the reason is also to sustain and continue the learning that it gives those souls to have an experience there. It's not the natural resources. It's not because it's a strategic point. It's the people. And it's the only place where all the craziness that you can see on Earth is generated. It can be seen as a school or as a prison, both valid, depending on the interpretation of who is looking at it.
I see it more as a prison, yes.
No, not me.
But there are souls that need that growth, but that there are others that do not. Those that don't, why do they come to Earth?
Everyone will have their own opinion or reason. But the idea that incarnating or living there advances you a lot in your soul development, so you can raise your density, your consciousness very quickly, is very extensive. Although, as Mari says, many get caught up in the self-centeredness that makes them go back and back there. But something I don't understand. You say that Earth is important because of its people, but there are people and populations on thousands of planets. Why are those not as important as Earth? What makes the people of Earth important? The answer is in your question. Precisely because it is a soup of thousands of races in there, all playing at being human. This is what doesn't happen easily on other planets. It happens, but in a limited way. Okay, but why has that happened, that soup, here, and not on other planets? Why Earth? Or was it by chance, because it had to be on some planet? Just because that's how it happened? I don't have a satisfactory answer for me. I guess either because it was propitious for some reason, or most likely because it just happened to be that way, and now it is being used as a school.
And what information do they get about Earth, and where do they get it from before coming here? How do they know about Earth to be able to decide to enter here?
In the afterlife, I guess they know, and they pass the information between the souls.
But how do those who are immersed do it? What data do they have?
Well, those know it simply because it is part of the information available in the libraries. And among the other non-human people, they pass the ideas. They have data that may not be entirely reliable, as we have seen with what Anneka was told before she came here, about the Earth having to be liberated and all that, being that was part of the narrative of the Matrix itself, a version for the ETs that have to do with the Earth, so that from above they sustain the Matrix as well.
So, no one comes here deceived?
I think yes, but not necessarily as it is commonly said on Earth. Nor are they being forced to reincarnate, not that. They are simply trapped by their own ideas, like karmas and experiences they did not have and wish to have in the next incarnation. But they can be told wrong information, as in the case of Anneka. So what was said before about the Federation's headquarters in San Francisco, which in another timeline is a negative headquarters, is that still valid? That is true in many timelines. You even see that in Star Trek movies. As you know, there were insiders there, behind that Sirius, which is the mix between the secret space program and the Galactic Federation, United Federation of Planets. But not today in this timeline. The headquarters is orbiting Saturn, and it is an Andromedan biosphere ship. But you could say that the Earth is also important because of that, because it is the headquarters, although, as you say, in this timeline it is not. Yes, but that is minuscule compared to the importance it has simply because of the souls there, having a human experience being ETs. They don't care because they already have it all under control. They don't change anything on Earth because that's the way they want to have it. And they want to have it that way because that is what the souls in there are asking for in bulk. They want their nightmare level video game. But the starseeds must realize that much of that nightmare level is just an illusion. The trick is to learn to cope with that, the fear and the hopelessness, learning to control emotions so that they serve you and not you serving them. That is why the Federation is not bad. It only monitors that what happens there does not exceed limits. Limits that are not stated or are somewhat vague. For example, the nuclear threat. It will never happen, but people are afraid of it. It's imposed there as a method of generating an emotional reaction, just like many other things. And in what sense much of that nightmare level is just an illusion? I can imagine, but I think it's better if you answer it. In the sense that many of the threats and serious problems that afflict humanity do not exist and are only media propaganda to provoke fear. It is said, and we say, that it is to control the population, and yes, that is true. But I speak from the more expanded point of view, here, Federation level and its ideas. The overwhelming majority of the serious problems that afflict humanity are never fulfilled. Yes, although, on the other hand, there are other threats that TV doesn't talk about, but they are much more serious and we talk about those, like nanotechnology in papayas and all that. That's even more serious, and that nightmare is real, isn't it? That's right. That's the other side of the coin here. On the other hand, there are those threats, which are in themselves part of the formation of more illusions. Still, by no means do I suggest dismissing all of that as false, because there are also there, in the same soup, many regressive souls who use the dynamics on Earth for their own benefit, as is already known. And even from here, we cannot know to what degree each of those hidden things are true and to what degree they are not. They may just be illusions in the making. We cannot know everything, but we must remain vigilant.
I do not see that this is of much use. As learning for a soul, it only enslaves it more, and it makes more matrix.
However, it is the most common idea among the star races. Many already come from a greater matrix, but almost the same. What do you mean by illusions in formation? Yes, that these real problems are like the basis of other, even bigger illusions that we don't know about. That is, that they are like pieces of a larger whole that we have not yet seen. Oh, yes, of course, it is very possible. Exposing one piece of the game at a time. We don't know what bigger game is in all that.
Yes, like an iceberg.
Another day. I see that Tina said that Earth is important because of the people incarnated there, because of the souls. That is true. Why the Earth was generated this way is complex. But I think what she said about it being a place where many stellar species are concentrated is correct. So it ends up being an amusement park because of the diversity present there. And this only increased with the passing of the centuries. In my opinion, what happens is that it is a planet with a dynamic of problems that include the exploitation of third parties, all born of the extreme duality present there and the apparent lack of direct communication with the original source on the part of many of its inhabitants, human or not, including astral entities. So, from the point of view of exploitation, seen as unfair, that same exploitation provides a challenge to overcome for souls who wish to increase their perception and contrast capabilities. That is, although some are there suffering, others enter to overcome the challenge. I am talking about entering voluntarily, knowing what they would face during their incarnation. However, those souls, at least generally, already know how they end up, how they live, what they will experience. So they half cheat by using only the veil of forgetfulness as a method to increase the level of drama and emotionality of the incarnation they will experience. So, out of a place where suffering exists, from another expanded angle or more expanded angle, it became a place of development and training. That is why the Federation is not the least bit interested in solving Earth's problems. That's what it's for, and it is contained within that planet. The problems are illusory from the most expanded point of view, from the misnamed 5D space. And that is why they want to maintain that illusion as much as possible. And that is why they punish and censor beings like the Taigetans and the Svas for ruining the movie. We produce spoilers, so to speak. But from my point of view, that is also part of the illusion of living incarnated there. Anyhow, it is a minimum of souls, of people who believe what I say. But if souls know how they will end up, what is the challenge for them? The challenge is in not knowing how far you can go and whether you can overcome something or not. That is the reason for the veil of forgetfulness. But that is an extreme. Other souls do enter with full consciousness and full memories and recollection. Everyone designs their experience. Sorry, what are you referring to here? What part of what you say few believe? That they are not enough in quantity for the Federation to permanently remove us, being that it is the matrix itself that limits the amount of people that listen to us. So it also results in an elite content audience that, according to the Federation, does not cause significant damage to the matrix. The point is that I beg to differ. That's why I insist.
And the reason why you differ, is it rooted in something metaphysical perhaps?
Let's say that I differ because, from my point of view, with just one person listening, you already change a universe. And that matters a lot.
I understand. Okay, and something I still don't understand. If souls know how they end up, that they already overcome the challenge or not, then why even do it? If they already know yes or no.
You can always vary what happens. You have free will, even if it is limited there. But how much is limited, or to what degree, it is difficult to say. It depends on each person.
Yes, but they still know how they end up 100%, yes? I see little fun in such a challenge, even with variations. If the soul already knows the result, why does it get involved knowing the result? I don't understand that. If it was without knowing the result, it would be something else.
That depends on each person, if that is useful or not. What you say is logical, but from your perspective, even mine, but not that of others. That is why you have chosen more difficult levels, because of the memory matter, but not yet within the most problematic levels. Those beings with whole memory do have use for experience, and most of the time it is memory at 90% or more, maybe not 100%. That is enough or sufficient to cause an emotional reaction, and that is what they seek. Because what is desired as an incarnational experience is to learn to master and use the emotions. Also, to learn to manifest and control the environment with the mind. But the reasons will always be personal. Sometimes they remember everything except the end, as it happens with Dor Kalel when he was there. He reported or commented that it was a hard experience for him, even while knowing himself to be a full ET, and even with communication with ships of his race in orbit. He still found it difficult.
Most of the time you say they have 90% memory? I would say that most of them do not remember anything at all, no? Or maybe I misunderstood.
It depends on each person. There are no rules.
And does it mean anything to end one way or another? A violent way and another less violent? Or is it all the same?
It doesn't have to be violent or non-violent. The uncertainty is enough. And I can't know everyone's motivations.
From the outside, everything looks different.
From the outside, everything looks different, yes. And that's a big problem. Or it generates a lot of problems.
But outside, you mean where you are, or planes beyond, or both?
It applies to both, from here, not on Earth. But looking from the more expanded matrix, which does include other planets. And also from the afterlife side.
So, Yazhi, because of all that, Earth is special. So, you don't think it should stay that way, special? Why do you want to interrupt Earth being special? That includes all of us in our group.
It's one of those answers that no matter what I say, it's wrong. I do see the point that the Earth should remain as it is, problems and all. I agree with that perspective. But at the same time, I am aware of the suffering and injustices at the population level, and I don't agree with that. So I am kind of in a contradictory situation, where I see and perceive both points of view simultaneously. At the same time, I am fully aware that nobody is lost on Earth. They reincarnate totally voluntarily, whether they like it or not. and they only come back constantly to be exploited because they do not yet reach a level of spiritual evolution and consciousness high enough to say no to that and to take their measures, necessary and appropriate for their own needs. That is, they are not ready, for the most part, to take responsibility for themselves. And I am talking more than anything else about taking responsibility for their own souls. So they are there, repeating and repeating 3rd grade, until they learn to divide. Then they can move on to the 4th grade. And what prevents them from progressing are attachments to momentary satisfactions with little or no meaning for soul progression, such as being incarnated in order to eat, gluttony, or to satisfy low carnal instincts, which, while valid from the point of view of incarnation, can only cause a stagnation in the spiritual advancement of that soul. But it will be up to each person, soul, katra, to decide what is important and what is not. Eventually, they will tire of it and decide that the spiritual, mental, is more important. The people of Earth matter a lot. The ETs are here because it hurts them that they have to suffer for their own ideas. But they are in no position to judge, only to support. That is why Earth is important. It is because it is full of starseeds.
Thank you. But support and help will only be offered under the table, without anyone noticing.
That's right. That's the way it has always been, and that's the way it will always be. That is why neither I nor anyone else has the right to overthrow the Earth Matrix, because it would be to impose our ideas, my ideas, values, and ethics on that of others. What I can do, what we can do, is to be guides, to give other options to people, to all starseeds, because all souls are. That is what we bring. The matrix collapses from the level of the souls, from their values and needs, ideas and points of view. It does not collapse by liberating worlds with Ashtar command or with Captain whoever. All these are other points of view that also bring something else to the souls who are a match to that frequency, and will serve as a contrast for them when they wish to evolve further. All these are human reflections, valid but human. Wow, a revelation came to me. Wouldn't it be better then to try it from your side? Show the people there that it is not necessary to come here? How horrible it is? Wow, another idea came to me on how to help the souls coming to Earth, or how to free them from the Matrix. Teach the ETs on your side not to come here in the first place. Talk to them about what it is really like to be here. Educate them very well. And that is done by the other team here. That's what Alanim and her assistants do. As we spread the word here, we spread the word there. Exactly, spreading the word over there. Wow, I think I could participate in that maybe then. The only ones we can't reach are souls who are in afterlives, who make up their own ideas, although they can also be reached while they are still alive. Yes.
But up there, everything is more complex. How to reach so many races scattered throughout the universe? Many do not even know about the Federation.
Being an example. And if they don't know the Federation, then it would be very hard for them to be incarnating on Earth. Federation and Earth go hand in hand. How can we be the example being there? We already are. And instructing the population that does listen, that of Taygeta. That is the major example that everyone looks to. They also look to Alanim. There are few people more important than her. All eyes of countless worlds look at her, see what she does, what she is like, her values, and what she has achieved in such a short time. Their respect for her and her popularity everywhere keeps growing. So what matters on Earth is the people, the souls that are there. That's why. No natural resources, no water, no genetics, although it is related to souls. It is because there are their other versions, their friends, their relatives incarnated there, and they must take care of them. That's why there are hundreds of ships stationed in Earth orbit, always. They are not there playing in front of their noses. They are there for something, for their people below, their souls, their starseeds.